All right. See that?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 15th part. Today's game is to the California Heroes. And here's your host at this. Here are the storylines for today's game. First of all, the California Halos. Leading off and playing center field, number 23, Andrew Olson. Batting second at third base, number 0, Dash Lopez. Batting third in left field, number 12, Hector Ina. Batting fourth at second base, number 20, Talon Strombold. Batting fifth, designated hitter, number 27, Evan DeValley. Batting sixth at first base, number 52, Jorge Norte. Batting seventh in right field, number 6, Julian Morales. Batting eighth, catcher, number 23, Ethan Miller. Batting ninth, shortstop, number 16, Anthony DeLuca. And the starting pitcher for the Halos, right-hander, number 3, Caleb Samet. And our folks, athletics. Taylor from Medford State University, number 15, Scott Mitchell. And second, center fielder from California State University, Beaverfield, number 4, Jason Miller. Batting third, Regis University, number 24, Ethan. From Medford State University, number 23, Aiden. Batting fifth, shortstop from Regis University, number 14, George Smith. Batting sixth, Giller from State University, number 60, Isaac Fernandez. Batting seventh, from Ontario University, Mason, number 23, Stephen Meeker. Batting eighth, second baseman from State University, number 53, Andy. Batting ninth, third baseman from University, oh, Anthony Fleming, pitcher for Fresno. Right-hander from Fresno, Mississippi. Number 40, Tom. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask everyone to please stand and remove your hat for the playing of the national anthem. Oh.
Good morning, A's fans. It's play-by-play announcer Jarrett Smith coming at you live back home in Chancey Park, downtown Fresno, California. Well, A's are back after a travel day off, coming home from Medford, and it was a tough road trip for the A's. They were competitive in all three games. Middle game wouldn't necessarily suggest it based off the score, but A's had a realistic chance to win in at least two of them, but were competitive in all three. They were getting hits, they were getting people on base, but they just could not drive in runs. Going into Sunday, did some stats research. They had left 22 runners on base with the Friday and Saturday game, and over half of those were in scoring position. So that is something they are going to have to clean up here this week if they want to get back on the winning side of things. They are going to face off against the SoCal Halos for 3 games this series. We saw them pretty recently, June 24th, June 25th, both wins for the A's during that big 10-game winning streak. 11-3 in the first game and 4-zip the second game. On the mound for the A's is going to be Tyler Gonzalez, and he is ready for action. A's are ready for action. Halos are ready for action. I am, you are. Let's get into some more baseball. Busy week ahead, 6 straight home games, Tuesday through Sunday. And leading things off for the Halos is going to be the center fielder, Olson. First pitch in there called strike. And we are officially underway at 9:07 a.m. It is a 73 degrees right now. Nice, comfortable playing temps, but as we've documented throughout this season, it warms up quick here in the valley during the summertime, and it is going to get hotter and hotter as the week goes on. High of 97 today, and it's going to be close to 105 going from midweek through the rest of the weekend. Olson fouled that one back to the screen, 1-2. Gonzalez is ahead. Looking for the punch out on this pitch, but doesn't get it. Misses low and away. Olson gets the count to even up at 2 apiece. Gonzalez with 13 innings pitched on a year. This is his third start of the year as this one's bounced to Aiden Perry. Scoops it. No, it gets by him. Short-armed it with that one, and it hops under his glove. So that is going to be a leadoff base runner for the Halos. That's going to be charged as an E4 to Perry, and that'll bring up the hot corner, Lopez. So getting a little more into Gonzalez's stats on the year. As mentioned, third start. This is 4th appearance in total. He does have a save credited to him on the year. No wins, no losses as that first pitch is in for a strike. 5 runs total given up, but 3 of those only earned. 11 strikeouts to 4 walks, equating to a 2.07 ERA. Pitch number 2 here to Lopez. Bounced in the dirt. Good block from Edens to keep Olson there at first base. Gonzalez is 1-1. Olson's on the way. Edens throws down. It's a little offline. And looked like Lopez had to Smith had to stretch out his body to keep that one out in front of him. Able to do that successfully, so it's only second base for Olson, but it is a successfully stolen base. And now Lopez has himself a runner in scoring position. Gonzalez ahead again, 1-2. This time to Lopez, fouled straight back to the turnbuckle right next to me. At 1-2, the count will remain. Try some off speed down low. Lopez doesn't bite. Count evens up yet again, 2-2. It is worth mentioning in the Rogue series this past weekend, the starting pitching did a decent to solid job on the mound. Looking at the Rogue standings and previous results as this one's fouled back, they are a high run team, scoring double-digit runs in many games against the opponents they play in a tough league. And the A's did play a lot better than they did when they went up to Humboldt. Highest run total they gave up was 8 against the Rogues, held them to just 4 on 4th of July as this one shot out to right field and trying to dive for it there. Unsuccessfully was Isaac Fernandez, 2-2 yet again. So bringing that up in terms of the runs that got scored against them up in Medford, they are playing a lot more complete game, especially against the tougher teams. Much better showing against against the Rogues as opposed to the Crabs, even though the final score doesn't necessarily show that. That one's fouled back into the screen. Lopez is keeping this at bat prolonged here, eating up some pitches against Gonzalez. Gonzalez looking for that final punch out of Lopez here. 2-2 yet again is hit out to George Smith. Going to try and double him up at 2. He's done it. Fantastic. 6-4 double play right there. That was some good contact from Lopez, but unfortunately for him and Olson, it was right at George Smith, who was able to flip it onto Perry for an easy double play. 2 down just like that with the first 2 batters. Bases are wiped clean, and the 3-hole hitter Pena is now up. It's a fresh slate for Gonzalez here, just looking for that final out to get through the top of the first. And 3 batters he's faced, all 3 he started out with a called strike. Breaks one in, but this one's low, 1-1. Goes low yet again, 2-1. Last start for Gonzalez before today was against the Bay Area Force, actually. 5 innings he went in that one. Oh, good pitch there, but doesn't get the call. And it is now 3-1. It's getting into it. 5 innings of work in that game as this one's popped up on the right foul side, and Jake Maynard, that is, able to make the catch for out number 3. So leadoff base runner for Olson on an E4 from Aiden Perry, but George Smith and Aiden Perry able to combine for a 6-4 double play to wipe the bases clean, and Gonzalez gets Pena to pop out in foul ground. A's coming up for their first at-bats right after this. Bottom of the first, and Scott Mitchell leads things off for the A's. First pitch he takes for ball one. Mitchell will be facing off Seebeck on the mound for the Halos, who pops in a strike on Mitchell, 1-1. So Mitchell leading things off. We've seen him lead off a few times this year, also lower in the lineup as well. 1-2 now to Mitchell. Batting average has taken a bit of a slide for him in recent weeks here, batting .269, which is still not a bad average, but looking to get a hit to start things out. But he swings and misses, strike three, and the throwdown to secure the out is complete. It's a quick one out here with Seebeck getting his first strikeout on the first batter, and the center fielder Tyson Miller digs in now for his first AB. Well, Miller just continues to impress here. 405 batting average on the year, bumped it up to 400 plus with this past weekend's performance. 6 hits against the Rogues this weekend, 3 in the first game, 2 in the second, and 1 in the third. Very impressive stuff from the recent high school graduate. Will be playing his college ball at CSU Bakersfield. It's ahead early 2-0. And going to look further into his stats, getting on base nearly half the time, 41 on base percentage, and low strikeout guy, 15 walks to just 4 strikeouts. Tried to check his swing there, but I think the call on the pitch was a strike anyways, 2-1. Swing and a miss. He was ahead of that one, and count evens up 2-2. Seebeck looking for 2 strikeouts and 2 batters. Not going to happen here, though, as Miller bounces this one to first base. Rodarte able to field it and touch first base for out number 2. Quick 2 up, 2 down for the A's here in the bottom of the first. That'll lead to Ethan Wood. We've seen Wood in recent weeks bouncing in between DH and first base. DH he will be today. Jake Maynor has the first baseman duties today. First pitch on to Wood, fouled off the end of the bat to the screen. Wood batting an impressive .372 on the year, on base percentage high as well, with a .454 on base percentage. Second on the team in OPS with a .1082 as he watches strike 2 go by on the inside part of the plate. That OPS is second on the team, only behind Parker Crystal, and leads the team in slug and RBIs. No surprise there with how much he can mash the ball. 2 home runs on the year. Saw him hit one on 4th of July against the Rogues, as this one misses outside 1-2. Well, since we got the A's up to the plate, let's try and get through that lineup here before this inning ends. We just saw Mitchell. He's in left field. Miller, center field. That's a swing and a miss. So Ethan Wood down swinging. 2 strikeouts for Seebeck in that inning. Good work, 1, 2, 3 inning for him. And the A's will be coming back up with Eaton's in the bottom of the second, but not before the Halos come up for their at-bats in the top of the second. All right, Halo's second ABs of the day. Gonzalez starts out yet another batter with a strike, 4 for 4 in doing so far in this ball game. Leading things off here for the Halos in the top of the second is the second baseman, Trumbull, and he finds himself in trouble down 0-2 here early. Oh, 2 pitch breaks into the dirt. Trumbull not offering at that one. Count goes to 1-2. Gonzalez tries again. 1-2. This one's hit towards Maynor. He bobbles it. And Gonzalez just able to come over and cover. Good stuff from him for out number 1. And apologies for confusing Maynor with Wood. I'm just so used to seeing Ethan Wood playing at first that it's almost second nature to say so, but it is Jake Maynor at first base. And speaking of the A's lineup, let's finally get through it. Mitchell leads off left field. Tyson Miller second, center field. Third, Ethan Wood DHing. Cleanup hitter is Hayes Edens behind the plate. Batting fifth, a little bit lower than we're used to, is George Smith at short as Perry gets on one knee to field this one, throws it on the Maynor for out number 2. Quick 2 up, 2 down here for the A's on a ground out to first and a ground out to second. So finishing things off, Isaac Fernandez in right field. We're not used to seeing him there too often. We usually see him behind the plate. And Jake Maynor mentioned him a few times already. He is at first base. Aiden Perry at second, and Luke Nevode rounds things out at the hot corner. First pitch to Rodarte misses outside for ball 1. First at bat that Gonzalez has started with a ball. Swing and a miss there for strike 1-1. Tries to get a chase down low, doesn't get it. 2-1. Gonzalez comes back, challenges him pretty much down the pipe, and gets a swing and a miss there. That is evened up 2-2. Strike 3 paints the inside corner. Rodarte mad with himself for taking that one, and 3 up, 3 down for Gonzalez. Good stuff early on here for him. That's his first strikeout of this morning game. And the A's coming right back up to bat in the bottom of the second. Edens, Smith, Fernandez to start out the bottom of the second for the A's. First pitch to Hayes Edens called strike one. Edens on the year batting a solid .274, as that was some wicked tail on a two-seamer. Heater too, and 0-2 quickly for Hayes Edens. Good on base percentage for him too, 403 on the year, and Seabeck tries to break one away and get a chase, doesn't though, 1-2. 16 RBIs as well for Edens. Looking to get something started here for the A's as he watches strike three go by. Seabeck has some wicked tail on a two-seamer, and it is quick pace. 3 strikeouts already for him in this early game as he goes up against George Smith with 1 out in this bottom of the second. George Smith, unquestionably one of the top players for the A's this year as he watches pitch number 1 for a ball. 358 batting average on the year, nearly 500 on base percentage, specifically 486, and leads the team in many categories as this one bounces by the catcher for a quick 2-0 advantage to Smith. Some of the categories he's leading in includes walks, runs, and stolen bases. Second on the team in hits, just behind Mikey Ramirez. 2-0 to him, inside, dribbles this one to the third baseman, to the shortstop. It gets through both of them, finds the 5-6 hole, and a base hit for George Smith. So there's the first base hit of the game for either side, and Isaac Fernandez will be digging in, looking to move Smith around those base paths. Smith, to be fair, doesn't have too much trouble moving around those base paths. As I highlighted, leads the team in stolen bases, 22 on the year, and we may very well see another one here trying to get into scoring position for Fernandez to hit him in. First pitch is chopped to the shortstop, could be 2, throws it on to second, force out there, and this throw sails wide of Rodarte, but Fernandez is going to stay put at first base, no chance to extend it for 2. So that'll be a fielder's choice for Fernandez. Smith out at second, and he'll take over his place at first base now with 2 down. Jake Maynor, the first baseman, will be trying his luck at the plate. Jacob Maynor, a late addition to this roster, 10 games so far on the year. Only saw him 1 at-bat up at Medford. That was a pinch hit appearance late in the Saturday game. Has a .250 batting average so far on the year, getting on base at a 370 clip. 400 clip, even better, and 6 RBIs and 1 walk so far. Chases some off speed down in the zone, 1-1. Seabeck comes home with 1-1, misses inside for 2-1. We talked about Ethan Wood switching in between first base and DH. Jake Maynor has done that as well. So has Parker Crystal. It's almost been a 3-man rotation at times between first base and DH for those guys, as this one's in for a strike, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Fernandez still at first base, and Maynor looking to extend this inning. Fernandez faked he was going to go to first or down to second base, stays put. Maynor works the count full, 3-2. Oh, Maynor gets drilled with some heat right there. So he'll have first base. Fernandez on to second. That certainly is not going to feel good for Maynor, but rub some dirt in it. You'll be fine. So with two down, a little bit of life here for the A's, looking to strike first on the scoreboard. Aiden Perry tasked with just that job. He is the second baseman for the A's in today's game. Been pretty much an everyday starter at that spot, second base. We saw Brian Sanders earlier in the season at second base. He does get a little bit of action there, but if we see him in the game, sometimes, or more likely than not nowadays, it is at third base. 1-0 pitch on the Perry's ripped at right at Rodarte. That's out number 3. Solid piece of contact there for Perry, but just one of those that goes right to a fielder. So 2 batters get on base there. That was Fernandez and Maynor with a fielder's choice. 3 batters actually get on base, excuse me. George Smith single. Isaac Fernandez fielder's choice. Jake Maynor hit by pitch, but doesn't come to anything for the A's. It is still scoreless as we go to the 3rd inning. Gonzalez starts out the top of the 3rd with a strike to Perales. 0-1. It is going to be the bottom of the lineup due up here for the Halos. Swing and a miss. Quick 0-2 advantage for Gonzalez now. Perales, Miller, Zaluka, right field catcher, shortstop for the Halos. Gonzalez quickly working to try and get a 3-pitch strikeout. Not going to happen there, though. Misses outside for 1-2. Been quick and efficient here for Gonzalez so far. First batter he faced did get on base, but since then been cruising, and we see it there yet again. Strikeout looking. Second strikeout for Gonzalez, and both coming back to back across the end of the 2nd and the top of this 3rd inning. So quick one out. Catcher Miller now up, looking to change the fortunes against the Halos here early against Gonzalez. First pitch misses outside, 1-0. Quickly into the windup. This one taps lightly over to 3rd. That is Navode. Throw on to first base in time for out number 2. Well, pitchers certainly love to strike out batters, and 2 strikeouts ain't too bad early on in this game, but the A's and Gonzalez, I'm sure, are not going to complain with the pace of this game and how things are going early on. He has been quick, he has been efficient, and he is 1 out away from going through the first 9 batters in 3 innings. Challenges him upstairs, swing and a miss, quick 0-2 to DeLuca. Only 38 pitches here for Gonzalez as he looks to finish off this inning. It's chopped to George Smith. Fields it cleanly, throws on to first. Maynor catches out number 3. Another quick 3 up, 3 down. Gonzalez and the A's clicking on defense, and they are right back up to bat in the bottom of the 3rd.
From Nickel Kids University, third baseman, number 20.
9-1-2 due up for the A's. First pitch is to Luke Neveau. That's ball 1 outside. Neveau with a 256 average on the year. As this one is called high. That looks to be a bit high in the zone, but Seebeck able to get back 1-1. On base percentage over 400 for Neveau. Good stuff there. 23 hits on the year, 7 of those extra base hits as he chops this one up the middle. Shortstop cleans it up, throws it on over to first. That was DeLuca for out number 1. Well, I have a feeling. I don't believe really too much in superstitions or jinxes, but you know what? Just might happen if I say it, but I'm going to say it. This game is flying by early on here. We're in the bottom of the 3rd and only just a bit over half hour of game time. So we're back to the top of the lineup. Scott Mitchell for a second at bat struck out in 4 pitches his first time up and finds himself in a 1-1 count here for at bat number 2. Slider misses outside, 2-1. Mitchell been a good contact hitter for the A's, similarly to Tyson Miller. 18 hits on the year for him, 15 of them being singles, but also low strikeout number at just 8 this late in the season. Seebeck comes back with a firm 2-seamer in for strike 2. Hard to believe, too, folks, as the 2-2's on the way. Swing and a miss. Mitchell chases up and in. Strikeout number 4 for Seebeck. Back-to-back Ks for Mitchell to start out his day. 2 down. Tyson Miller digs in. So just going to go to my point here. This is game 34 on the year. And we have 44 games total, so season's winding down right before our eyes in a blink of an eye. We have 6 games, including this one this week, as Miller went to show bunt, holds it but misses for 0-1. So 6 games this week, and then looking at next week, we have 1 game here at home, and then go up to Reading for 3 games, and then after that, I do believe it's just 2 games against VSA, and that is your athletic season. 1-1 count now to Miller, and reflecting on the A's season at this point of the year, 22-9 record, certainly worth praising, no doubt about that. They have been hitting the ball pretty well. On base percentage numbers have really impressed me for sure up and down the lineup. I mean, we take a look at today's starting lineup. The lowest on base percentage is 370 from Isaac Fernandez. That is some good numbers there from the A's. In today's lineup as well, we have 6 batters with an on-base percentage over 400. That's for sure a winning formula, and it's proven to be with 22 wins compared to just 9 losses. Miller's ahead here, 3-1. Seebeck trying to go back in the count, tried to check his swing, and yep, home plate umpire appeals down to first base umpire. He says yes, he did. So Seebeck has worked the count full here, 3-2. Payoff pitch on the way, swing and a miss on the hard firm stuff outside. And just the 5th strikeout of the season here for Tyson Miller. And that'll end the inning. 5 strikeouts here for Seebeck early on, doing really well. Both pitchers, for that matter, doing really well. And we have a really quick game on our hands thus far. Already in the top of the 4th, it's scoreless. Halos looking to change that coming up. Top of the 4th, Gonzalez starts out the first batter with a pitch inside, 1-0. It is now the top of the lineup for the Halos, their second time through the order. Did he swing? First base umpire says no, and it's a quick 2-0 advantage to the center fielder, Olson. Olson, the only base runner for the Halos so far in this game, reached on an E4. And this time he bounces it to Smith. High hop, but still able to corral it. Throw on over to first base. Maynor with the stretch keeps his foot on the bag for out number 1. A lot of bounce outs here early on for the Halos. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those outs. Waiting the math here, that is 5 out of 10 to be specific out. So half of them coming on the ground. This one, on the other hand, is lined into center field, bounces in front of Miller, base hit for Dash Lopez. First hit for the Halos in this one. So now both teams with one hit on this opening series game. Left fielder Pena now up. First time up for him. He popped out and foul ground to Jake Maynor. Swing and a miss at the first pitch he sees, 0-1. And last time the Athletics faced a runner on base, they were able to double him up. That was on a line out to George Smith, threw it over to Perry for the quick double play. Gonzalez able to get ahead 0-2 here, looking for either the punch out or the ground out double play. It's going to be potentially 2. Perry flip on over to Smith. That's 1. Over to first base in time for out number 3. Right on cue. That's a 4-6-3 double play for the A's, and they wipe the bases clean, wipe the top of the 4th clean. Both times they've allowed runner on base, it's been wiped out by a double play. They'll take that all day, any day, and they'll come up in the bottom of the 4th, looking to strike first. Already the bottom of the 4th, and the A's up to bat. Ethan Wood bounces this in between the 3-4 hole, base hit for him. First leadoff base runner for the A's this morning, and looking to capitalize on it as this has been a fast-paced, scoreless game. So now Eden's looking to move Wood around those base paths. First time up for him. He struck out against Seebeck, one of 5 strikeout victims. And interestingly enough, all those strikeouts coming in the top of the lineup. 2 for Mitchell, 1 for Miller, 1 for Wood, and 1 for Edens. Edens gets drilled, and he has first base. That's the second hit by pitch here early on for Seebeck. Maynor, the other one that got hit by a pitch. Certainly not intentional here, but with that high heat, we see people typically with that high heat, I should say, can have a bit of control issues. And we've seen that early on in this game. First 2 batters of this bottom of the 4th reach on base. Ethan Wood single, Edens hit by pitch. Just 2 pitches into his at-bat. And Ethan Wood's college teammate, George Smith, both from Regis University, now coming up 1 for 1 already on the day with a single. looking to drive in the first run. First pitch taken low and away for ball one. And we have a balk here. That might be the first one I've seen all season, but Seebeck balks, and Wood and Edens has 3 bases. Now this at bat has become totally different with no outs as well. 2 runners in scoring position, and Smith just trying to put this one in play at this point. Called strike there, 1-1. Seebeck has gotten himself into a tough situation here, both with a hit by pitch and a balk there, but gets a swing and a miss on a nasty slider down in the zone. One-two pitch. Paints bottom of the zone and gets George Smith looking out number 1 of this bottom of the 4th. 6K there for Seebeck on the day. I do believe that is his first one of the looking variation. So now with 1 down, the torch gets passed to Isaac Fernandez, looking to drive in Ethan Wood from third and even perhaps Hayes Edens from second. Fernandez did get on base his first time, but by a fielder's choice. That saw George Smith with the force out at shortstop. Fernandez sends this one out to left field. It is caught, but that is going to cash in Ethan Wood. Easy tag up from third base for the first run of the game. A's up early, 1-0. All right, so 0-0 stalemate finally broken by the A's here, helped by first 2 batters getting on base. And now 2 outs in this inning. Eden still at second base. Jake Maynor up to bat. First pitch is a strike. Pitch number 2 to Maynor, chopped foul towards the Halos dugout. Quick 0-2 hole here for Maynor. First time up for him. As mentioned earlier, when Edens got hit by a pitch, Maynor was drilled. Do believe that was with a 3-2 count as well, if memory serves me right. Eden's on the move, and he has third base successfully. That's a stolen base as Seebeck's slider breaks off the plate for ball 1. Eden's not somebody we usually see stealing in these ball games, but able to take advantage there in an 0-2 hole. And now 90 feet away from run number 2 for the A's as Maynor shows good discipline on a pitch high in the zone, takes for 2-2. Seebeck looking for that final pitch of this inning. Not going to get it there, though. Maynor staying alive. Just a little bit of a piece there to keep it at 2-2. Seebeck tries again on 2-2. Absolutely dots low and outside with a 2-seamer, and that ends this inning. But A's able to get the first run on the board. Leadoff single for Ethan Wood. Edens hit by a pitch. And the balk sees Ethan Wood and Hayes Edens get moved up 90 feet. Without that balk, the A's might not have scored a run, but they're able to capitalize and have the first lead of this game, 1-0, as we go to the top of the 5th. All right, top of the fifth. Gonzalez working a really nice game so far today. 45 pitches only as he enters the top of the fifth inning. 2 strikeouts so far for him on the day, but certainly not going to mind that with how this game has unfolded for him in his starts. 1-0 start here to Trumbull. As mentioned, the 2 base runners that got on base against Gonzalez so far were quickly wiped out with double plays. So really no threat here early on from the Halos. But Trumbull finds himself ahead 2-0 here against Gonzalez. First time up for him, he grounded out to first base as he swings and misses. 2-1. Swing and a miss yet again. 2-2. Gonzalez has bounced back from 2-0 to even it up at 2 apiece. This one sent out to left field, shallow left field, I should say. George Smith able to easily jog over for out number 1. So 1 out, DH to Valley digging in. First time up for DeValley. He grounded out to second base. This time shoots it out to shallow right field. Who wants it? Drops in. Perry made a diving effort at it, but not able to get it. Fell into that Bermuda's triangle of first base, second base, and right field. And that is a 1-out loop single for DeValley. So Jorge Rodarte digging in, trying to move the base runners around for the Halo here. First pitch is in the dirt. Eden's able to get enough of a piece of it to keep it in front of the home plate area so DeValley doesn't advance. Rodarte struck out his first at-bat. Gonzalez taking a peek over at first, comes home, pumps in a strike on the inside. So now both teams, I should say, at 2 hits apiece. It's been a slow game offensively thus far, but still plenty of time for things to heat up here as that Fresno heat heats up this ballpark. 2-1 count to Rodarte. Keep an eye on DeValley to see if he wants to. Not yet, at least. Lines this one past Luke Naveau. That was a hard hit. It was going to be a tough play for Naveau to make. That should definitely go into the books as a single for Rodarte, and it's now runners on first and second for the Halos with only 1 down. All right, so Julian Perales with the chance to tie things up right after the A's scored the first run of this game. First pitch to him, ball 1. Pitch number 2 hit high in the air to the left fielder Scott Mitchell, who runs up on it, catches it for out number 2. All right, so 2 down, still 2 runners on base. That is DeValley at second, Rodarte at first. And this catcher Miller now comes up trying to look for a clutch 2-out piece of hitting. Miller grounded out to third base his first time up, and the first pitch of his second at bat taken for ball 1. So the stickiest situation for Gonzalez so far in his start is right now, but he looks cool, calm, collected on the mound, pumps in a strike 1-1. Command has really not been a struggle for him today. His 1-1 is down in the zone. Good pitch there made by him, but doesn't get the swing. 2-1. Taking a peek at DeValley at second. Now comes home. Curveball swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. Gonzalez looking for that final punch-out pitch to get out of this little jam. On the way in the dirt, Edens blocks to keep the runners at bay, and count has now gone full 3-2. Payoff pitch for Gonzalez. Runners on the move. It is just tapped foul. So runners getting back to their bases, but we'll see him on the move again with a 3-2 count. Gonzalez tries again with the payoff. Bounced in the dirt, though. Ball 4. First walk for Gonzalez of his outing. And now finds himself bases loaded, 2 outs. All right, so heck of a situation here for both teams. Closest the Halos have been to scoring today, and Gonzalez, the first jam for him as he blows by strike 1. It is the 9-hole hitter, shortstop DeLuca, looking to deliver a clutch 2-out hit to score 1 and potentially 2 to take the lead. He hits this one out to center field, and Tyson Miller's parked under it for out number 3. So Halos threatened here with getting the bases juiced with 2 outs, but Gonzalez and the A's able to work out of it, and they keep the Halos off the scoreboard, holding on to a 1-run lead halfway home as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Alrighty, it's going to be Perry, Nevode, Mitchell to lead things off for the A's in the bottom of the 5th. And Mr. Nevode, was great to meet with you this morning, and glad to have you in the ballpark today. And I believe you'd say the username is Preving, watching all the way in Ontario, Canada. Thank you very much for your support and watching all the way from over there. Perry's in a quick 0-2 hole here against Seebeck. Lined out to third base to end the second inning. Good contact, but just right at Rodarte. Takes this one for easy. Ball one, high and outside. 1-2 to Perry. Swing and a miss. Had some firm stuff low and inside. My goodness, I think Seebeck just reared back and threw his fastest pitch of the game. I don't have a radar gun to quantify that and prove it, but that just looked wicked. But regardless, it is now one down for the A's. Perry strikes out, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strikeouts for Seebeck in this game. Good stuff from him. Works in a sweet curveball for strike one to Luke Nevode. Nevode grounded out to short his first time up. That was to lead off the action in the bottom of the third. Pitch number two has to duck out of the way. That one was in a dangerous spot close to Nevode's head, what they would call it chin music. So 1-1 now. Spikes it in the dirt. Catcher able to make the stop. 2-1, excuse me. A little bit of preliminary stretches going on the A's bullpen, but no serious warm-ups for anybody coming in, as Gonzalez has been pitching a fine game out on the mound. Seen a couple people down in the Halos bullpen, but same thing as well. Nothing really to report besides there's people down there. Seebeck paints low and outside there. Good pitch. Tails back on the corner to make it 2-2. So two's here against Nevode. That one bounced in the dirt outside, and it is worked up to a full count. After Nevode, it is the top of the lineup again for the A's. That'll be the third time in this game. As Seebeck goes for payoff pitch, pumps it down the pipe, and Nevode able to foul it off to keep it alive. Wasn't really much wind at the beginning of this game. Now there is a bit of a breeze blowing from the west, which would favor the left field. This one's grounded to the third baseman, made a nice backhanded play, and out in time. My goodness, way to stick with it. That was Dash Lopez over there at third base. Wish I had cut the camera sooner, but he made a nice backhanded play, tried to plant his foot, slid a little bit when he tried to do that, was still able to recover and make the throw in time. And the first baseman, Rodarte, finished off all of that with a nice little pick to finish off Nevode. So two down here, and Scott Mitchell grounds this one to the shortstop on the run, gathers it up, fires the first base in time for out number 3. So the quick pace in this game continues on. It is the end of the 5th inning, and we've only played just an hour of game. We're going to the top of the 6th, and the A's still clinging on to a 1-run lead. Already the top of the sixth. This game's flying by, and it is the 1-2-3 hitters for the Halos. Olson grounds this one to Smith. Throw on over to first base. Safe. He's able to beat it out. That looked like that might have just got him, but first base umpire says safe. Good speed to leg that one out and get himself an infield single. All right, so leadoff base hit here for the Halos, just what they need to try and tie it up or potentially even take the lead. Dash Lopez, the third baseman, digs in. First pitch, just catches high and inside corner, 0-1. Lopez 1 for 2 on the day, lined into a double play the first inning, but got a single in the fourth. Takes this one low for 1-1. Lopez also made that nice play at third base, backhanding a ground ball hit by Nevode, slipped, but still able to throw it in time to get Nevode out. Gonzalez fires it. This one's hit right to Perry. That was interesting. It gets into the outfield for a base hit, and it's going to be runners at the corners now, first and third. Apologies for that being on the third base side camera. So Halos in business here early. 2 runners on base, no outs. Just to recap that one, Lopez hit it right up the middle as Olson was stealing, and there's a little bit of traffic there right in front of Perry, both the base runner and the ball coming right at him. He was going to cover second on the steal, and the ground ball he was almost able to field, but as he was sort of slipping and diving, it got right by him for a base hit. Now this one's hit up the middle. Smith hard on the charge, and it gets through. That is a base hit. Going for 2 there is Pena. He is in there, and that is the first run of this ball game. Halos wasting no time in the top of the 6th, getting down to business. Game is tied up now, 1-1, and Lopez is now over at third after his single. Pena is able to stretch that into a double as it got up the middle. So 3 straight hits for them in this inning, and they are threatening to take the lead. Pitching coach Ethan Winter calls time. He's going to have a chat with his young pitcher Gonzalez and the infield after 3 straight hits have led to a run. So it's going to be runners on second and third now for the Halos with no out. Tricky situation here to try and maintain a tie. More likely than not, A's and Halos are going to trade outs for runs here, but we'll see what Gonzalez and the A's can come up with defensively. We've seen certainly in the past the A's in these situations play their corner infielders in on the infield grass and have those middle infielders playing back on the outfield cut of the grass. And all this action here in the top of the 6th has led to some warm-ups in the bullpen. I do believe that is Dylan Whiteman warming up in the bullpen. So after the conference, we're back. Gonzalez taking the rubber again. This is against the cleanup hitter Trumbull, 0 for 2 so far. Ground out and a pop out. Takes first pitch strike here. Halos just looking for anything in play here to try and take the lead. Gonzalez able to paint low and inside for 0-2 advantage against Trumbull. 0-2 pitch, chopped to the right side. It is just foul. That one, if that one stayed fair, Maynard was going to touch up first base and potentially go home if Lopez tried to test that out and take the lead. Instead, though, it's 0-2 yet again. Gonzalez on the way. This one's chopped over to the third baseman, Nevode. He's going to throw it on to first. Woo! In time for out number 1. That throw looked to catch Maynard in a bit of an awkward spot, trying to catch it and not have his arm get run into by Trumbull. But no harm, no foul there. 1 out, and the A's able to keep the Halos runners at bay. So now DeValley comes up trying to knock in the game leading run. First pitch, bends in there for a strike. DeValley chops this one down the third base line, but it is foul. And another quick 0-2 count for Gonzalez after getting himself into a bit of a situation here. Strikeout would be huge for the A's chances for keeping more runs off the board. Bounced in the dirt. Eden's able to block it and keep Lopez at third. 1-2. The count goes now to DeValley. He is 1 for 2 on the day. Grounded out to second his first time and got a base hit in the fifth. Gonzalez tries high and outside there. Thought he had a strike. A's dugout thought he had a strike, but it is a ball instead. Count goes even at 2 apiece. This one chopped foul yet again as Gonzalez tried to break in a slider. Count still remains 2-2 here. DeValley versus Gonzalez coming back home as Gonzalez challenges him high in the zone. It's fouled into the seats. Yet again, another 2-2. Did he go? Yes, he did, says home plate umpire. Gets him to break the plane of the plate, and huge strikeout for Gonzalez and the A's in this top of the sixth. After 3 base hits, he's gotten 2 straight outs to keep Lopez at third, Pena at second, and it is still 1-1. Now can breathe a little bit easier, but still in a bit of a situation. Rodarte up, the first baseman, looking to get this one to find a hole and bring in potentially 2 runs. Fouls the first pitch he sees to the right side. First base coach for the Halos scoops it up, throws it in the A's dugout. Rodarte 1 for 2 on the day himself, strikeout and a single. Gonzalez pulls this pitch outside 1-1. Breaks this one in the dirt. Rodarte takes 2-1. Gonzalez started out this inning with 67 pitches. Safe to say he's probably in the 80s now, getting close to the 90s. So we'll see if he goes another inning if he gets out of this jam. Paints bottom of the zone there, 2-2. Rodarte looking to give the the Halos the lead. Gonzalez looking for one more pitch to get out of the jam. This one's bounced to George Smith. High chopper. Throw on to first base. Maynard scoops it up. That's out number 3. Huge play there from Smith and Maynard to get it out of this inning. And Gonzalez able to get out of the jam after the 3 base hits to lead things off for the Halos. They do score a run and tie things up, but the Halos could have made more out of that. A's able to get out of it. They're tied 1-1 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. All right, we're in the bottom of the sixth after an exciting top of the sixth. Miller looking to lay down a bunt here, fouls it for 0-1. So Seebeck's day is done. The Halos have gone to the bullpen, and it is going to be Jonathan Garola in relief. Seebeck's final line here, 5 innings of work, gave up 2 hits, 1 earned run, as this one misses down low 1-1. 9 strikeouts to 0 walks in 5 innings of work. That is impressive numbers, but important to note, he did give out 2 what I consider to be free passes on hit by pitches. Garola misses low and outside, 2-1 to Miller. Miller on the morning is 0 for 2, ground out and a strikeout, only his 5th of the year. 2-1 pitch on the way to him, showed bunt again, pulls it back as this one gets to the backstop, 3-1. There's also more substitutions to report here for the Halos as Miller fouls this one. Full count now to him. It's number 26, Bunt. What a baseball name. Bunt comes in for Perales, so he'll take over in right field. And then Miller is subbed out as this one is chopped foul. Miller subbed out for Jensen. There we go. Number 50, Jensen will take over behind the dish. Miller able to chop this one. He stays alive at 3-2, and he takes this one outside for ball 4. Good at bat there for Miller to lead off this bottom of the 6th. And Garola's first batter sees a free pass over to first base. A's looking to take advantage of that with Ethan Wood digging in for at bat number 3 of the day. Wood struck out his first at bat, second time up, led off the bottom of the 4th with a single, and is the only run scored for the A's, courtesy of a sac fly from Isaac Fernandez. Garola checks on Miller at first base. He's back in there safe. Long pause here. Now comes home, and Miller's on the move. Throw downs in time. It looks like he's out. Fantastic throw. I mean, just fresh into the game there is Jensen, and he put that one in the exact spot it needed to be, low at the glove to where the tag could be made right at Miller's foot before he was able to get it in for a safe stolen base. That instead, it is now 1 out, 1-0 count to Wood. Pitch on the way, down low, 2-0. So more times than not, Miller is able to swipe second base safely, but like I said, that was just pinpoint accuracy behind the plate for Jensen, and same can go for the tag. Would find himself in a 3-0 count here. We'll see if he decides to take a hack at this pitch. No, watches it in, 3-1. This one's hammered a ton out to right center field. Is it going to be out of here? No, it's at the base of the wall, and what a phenomenal catch made out there. Olsen able to track that down, running all the way from center field to right center field, and that was high and deep. Wood just missed that one, and Olsen just makes a great read and catch on it for out number 2. We've seen Woody's power. He showed it there again, even though it's not a home run. That was a long and deep fly ball. So now it's 2 down. Hayes Edens, the catcher, in for his third at bat, and he finds himself with a quick 0-2 hole. 0 for 1 on the day, struck out in the second inning. got hit by a pitch in the fourth, and he hammers this one out to left field. It sends him back on the run. It is going to be off the top of the wall. Edens is into second base, and he will stay there. Boy, Edens was probably about 6 feet away from leaving this ballpark in terms of the flight of the ball, but A's will certainly take it. That was a nice shot out to left field and a 2-out double for the A's. And just when it looks like A's are going to have to wait another inning, George Smith now has a chance to get himself a 2-out base hit, driving Edens to retake the lead. Smith 1 for 2 on the day, singled and also struck out. First pitch onto him. Woo! High and inside, some chin music, able to duck out of the way for 1-0. Rolla gets set, comes home 1-0. This one's blasted out to left field. He might have left the ballpark. Left fielder's going back. It's out of here. George Smith into the bleachers. 2-out bomb. Clutch. And the A's take the lead 3-1. My, oh my, George Smith. There he goes. Touches home. Helmet taps with Hayes Edens. And with Isaac Fernandez, boom, goes the dugout as George Smith, it just absolutely clutches up. Hayes Edens hit one out to left field. We just saw that one was nearly out of the ballpark. George Smith follows him up, says, I got you, man. And parks it into the bleachers, Power Alley, it's called here at Chancey Park. And the A's feeling good with a 2-run lead. First pitch into Isaac Fernandez, called ball, 1-0. So that's George Smith's second home run. Only 2 players on the A's have multiple home runs on the season. Both happen to be from Regis University. We just saw George Smith's second home run, and Ethan Wood 2 home runs on the year as well. That should be 9 home runs total for the A's this season. Swing and a miss there from Fernandez, 1-2. So after all that excitement, let's get a quick look at Fernandez's day as he strikes out. Went into this at bat with a fielder's choice, sacrifice fly RBI, and now strikes out. But A's with a huge statement here in the bottom of the 6th. Miller was able to get on base with a walk, but was caught stealing. Ethan Wood then flew out. I mean, we saw that one was close for home run land. And then Hayes Edens comes up with a big 2-out double off the top of the wall. And then George Smith, exclamation point, home run. It's almost like we saw the A's contacts and hits getting closer and closer. Ethan Wood, warning track. Edens off the top of the wall, and then George Smith able to muscle it over the wall. A's up 3-1 as we get to the top of the 7th. All right, A's back on defense, top of the seventh after George Smith leaves the building to give them the lead. New pitcher to report on the mound. It is the southpaw Dylan Whiteman, works his first pitch of his outing in for a strike. Pitch number 2 misses outside for 1-1. So with Whiteman in, we'll take a look at Tyler Gonzalez's day. Did end up finishing 6 innings of work. It's looking like might be a bit tricky for him to get out of that 6th inning, but was able to make that work. 6 hits, most of those coming in that 6th inning that I just referenced. Only 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts to 1 walk. Whiteman with a well-located pitch there, but unable to get the strike call, so count works to 2 apiece. This is the first at-bat for Bunt. He just came in as a defensive substitution for Perales. And he has worked the count full against Whiteman in his first at-bat. Payoff pitch on the way, low and inside, ball 4. So besides what you would expect with a name like Bunt, he gets a walk instead of putting it in play. Leadoff base runner for the Halos, and another defensive substitution in for his first at-bat. It is the catcher, Jensen. First pitch, upstairs, 1-0. Jensen with a beautiful cut down of Tyson Miller at second base in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Whiteman taking a couple peeks at first, comes home, misses outside, 2-0. Whiteman has 9 2/3 innings pitched, and this is his 7th appearance as he throws over to check on the runner, Bunt. He's back in there safely. Whiteman's given up 9 runs, all of them earned, walked 14 to 9 strikeouts. So bit of a so-so outings for him thus far. Looking to nail it down here and hold the lead for the A's. Comes back with a strike, 2-1. Misses outside and gets by Edens off the edge of the glove, and there goes Bunt down to second base. Not sure if that'd be a wild pitch or a pass ball. Did go off Edens' glove, but it had a lot of run on it getting away. 3-1 swung on and missed by Jensen. Count runs full, 3-2. Another 3-2 pitch for Whiteman. Swung on and missed. Blasted by Jensen for out number 1. First strikeout for Whiteman, 4 total on the day for the A's. And it is now the bottom of the lineup, 9-hole hitter, shortstop DeLuca up to the plate, looking to make his mark. First pitch, swing and a miss. Perales 0 for 2 on the day, or excuse me, DeLuca 0 for 2 on the day. Ground out to short and fly out to center. Swing and a miss on a slider, and he is down quickly, 0-2 to Whiteman. Whiteman looking for yet another punch out. He's got it. Challenged him low and inside. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Whiteman. And 2 down in this inning. So with that, we rotate to the top of the lineup. It is the one hitter, Olson, center fielder. Made a nice run and catch on a Ethan Wood long fly out in the last half of the inning of this game. Whiteman able to get ahead early, 0-1 to Olson. Led off the sixth inning for the Halos with a single, swing and a miss. Must have been just foul as no movement there from bunt from second to third. Quick 0-2 hole here for Olson. But as mentioned, he led off last inning with a single and is the one run that came across to score for the Halos thus far. Whiteman's 0-2 pitch swung on and missed. 3 strikeouts in a row for Dylan Whiteman to get out of this inning. All right, so A's coming up in the bottom of the seventh, looking for some endurance runs right after we stretch at Chick-Chansey Park. Jake Maynard shows bunt and bunts this foul into the screen. 0-1 starts out this bottom of the seventh. Maynard 0 for 1 on the day. First at bat for him. Got drilled by a pitch and then struck out looking in the fourth. Watches this one. Slider away. Catcher asked for an appeal. That one wasn't even close and confirmed by the first base umpire. It is 1-1. Garola still on the mound for the Halos, and Maynard's hit again. Second time he's had to wear it today. Frustrating for a baseball player, but his team will certainly take the leadoff base runner. So Maynard takes first base. Leadoff runner, no outs. Aiden Perry digs in for at-bat. Number 3 lined out to first base in the second inning and struck out in the fifth. Good amount of strikeouts here for the Halos pitching duo so far in this one, as Perry shows bunt and fouls it for 0-1. Nine strikeouts so far for the Halos, and A's not exactly having the easiest of time of getting base hits today and putting the ball in play, but they still have the lead nonetheless, 3-1. All it takes is one hit, and we saw that last inning. George Smith, 2-run bomb out to left field, and that gives the A's the 3-1 lead. 1-1 pitch here. Scratch that. Garola checks on Maynor at first base. He's back in there safe. Perry showing bunt yet again and takes this pitch outside for 2-1. Both the on deck batter, hoping Perry could get on base and give him a chance for some ribbies and insurance runs to drive in. 2-1 pitch to Perry, swung on, fouled into the screen. 2-2. As Luke Nevode runs across our frame, retrieving that foul ball. Twos in this count. Pitch on the way, sent out opposite field to left field. Not much movement needed there, and it is out number 1, caught by Pena. Perry retired. Maynard remains at first. Luke Nevode digs in. Nevode 0 for 2 on the day. Both ground outs to the left side of the field, one to short and one to third. Pitch number 1 to him is in there for strike 1. Looked to be a good one to swing at, but elects to take 0-1. Roll is 0-1 inside for a strike, and Nevode down quickly 0-2. Oh, 2 pitch was close to hitting him, had to turn his elbow and arm in to avoid it. 1-2. Well, speaking of Nevode and 0-2 counts, we've seen him battle back from 0-2 to deliver one of the season's finest moments. Was in an 0-2 hole with bases loaded and 2 outs as this one slips out of Garola's hands for 2-2. So yet again, 0-2, 2 outs, bases loaded. This was earlier in the month of June, and Nevode able to work the count and then just hammered one out to left field for a grand slam. That was fun to watch. 2-2. Ooh, that was close. Good discipline from Nevode. Good pitch from Garola. And able to lay off for 3-2. See if Maynard thinks about going here on a 3-2 count. Yes, he does. He's on the move. Swing and a miss from Nevode. That's a strikeout, but Maynard able to successfully take 2. Double-digit strikeouts for the Halos. Number 10 on the outing for both Seebeck and Garola. Top of the lineup now for the A's. That is Scott Mitchell digging in. 2 strikeouts and a ground out to short for him in this game. Finds himself with Maynard at second, just looking to poke one out to the outfield and get Maynard around to score run number 4. But takes this first pitch for strike 1. Pitch number 2 is fouled into the screen. So another 0-2 hole here for an A's batter, this one being Mitchell. Looking to fight through it and just get something in play to see if we could get they can get Maynard around to score. This one, wow, went over and behind Mitchell. Likely was a curveball that Garola was trying to throw there and just completely slipped and missed the aim point there. But Mitchell able to dive out of the way of that one to make it 1-2. Pitch on the way. Mitchell, good discipline. That looked to be a slider that broke just away from the outside part of the plate. Back-to-back batters here. 0-2 hole, now up to 2-2. Mitchell, though, looking to avoid the fate of Nivode and not strike out. 2-2 pitch on the way. Slider, a little nubber off the end of the bat. Coach Ethan Winter able to field that one. And we'll do it again on 2-2. Yet again, 2-2, fouled into the seats. So Mitchell making himself a tough out against Garola. We are going to see part 3 of a 2-2 attempt from Garola trying to finish off this top half of the 7th inning. Taking a peek over at Maynard, now does it again, comes home to Mitchell, and he takes high and outside and fills this count up at 3-2. Garola taking his time, watching in the signs. Now has it. Comes set. Again, checking on Maynard. Comes home. Fouled away into the seats. Well, I don't have an exact pitch count here, but I'd have to imagine we're close to 10 pitches this at bat. Mitchell being stubborn to Garola. Again, taking his time, looking in the sign and taking a peek at Maynard. Maynard's on the move this time, though, and Mitchell takes ball 4. Quality great at bat from him. And he will have first base. Maynard able to steal the base in the meantime. He is at third. And now there are runners on the corners, first and third, 2 down. Well, coach for the Halos is on the top step. I don't believe he's going to come out just yet, but maybe thinking about it as there is action in the bullpen. Rolla is facing off against Miller, who tries to lay down a bunt and just get over to first safely. He does, throws off line. And look at that. Jake Maynard comes in for run number 4. Great small ball there from the A's. Rogues this weekend were able to pick them apart with small ball. They use it to their advantage here against the Halos. And Miller's speed is able to leg out that bunt RBI single. So now runners at first and second for the A's. And Ethan Wood digging in with a chance to blow this game open. Pitch number 1 in the dirt. Good block there from Jensen to keep the runners at their respective bases. So it's a 1-0 count here for Wood. Wood on the day, 1 for 3, has a single and just missed a home run. Sky to fly out to right center field. This one is popped up foul behind the plate. Well, we saw the A's struggle with getting hits with runners on base and in scoring position. Good chance here to separate themselves from that weekend series against the Rogues and extend their lead in this one. 3 runs 3-run lead so far in the ball game as we're in the bottom of the 7th. But they'd certainly like for it to be more as this game winds down. It is 1-2 to Wood. Pitch on the way. Watches this one bounce in the dirt yet again. Jansen able to block it and keep the runners at first and second. Two balls, two strikes, two outs. Corolla looking for that final pitch to put away this inning, taking a couple peeks at Mitchell at second, comes home, misses low and in, and fills up this count. Could be a big moment here for both sides. Counts full. Wood looking to blast one out to the outfield. Corolla looking to blast one by Wood. This one is blasted up the middle. That's a base hit. Here comes Mitchell around third, and Tyson Miller's following him around as well. He's in there in time. Big 2-out RBI single for Wood, cashes in 2, and the A's are now up 6-1. Well, the RBI leader on the team comes up with 2 RBIs there, and no surprise, really. He's been doing it all year, but clutch with 2 outs in this inning. It all started with a great at-bat and walk from Scott Mitchell. This one gets by the catcher, Jansen, and Woods easily going to have second base. The correction on that, actually, it all started out with Jake Maynard getting hit by a pitch in this inning. Then 2 consecutive outs made it look like this inning could be done and dusted. But Mitchell, great at bat to work it to a ball 4 and walk. After that, Tyson Miller laid down a beautiful bunt down the third base line, able to beat it out for an infield single with his just impressive speed. That cashed in Jake Maynard. And then we just saw the 2 RBI single from Ethan Wood. 1-0 pitch on to Hayes Edens. It's taken away 2-0. Edens able to get a double in the last inning. We saw he was just this close from hitting it out of the ballpark. 2-0 taken down the pipe for 2-1. Aside from that double mashed off the top of the wall, Edens also reached due to getting hit by a pitch earlier in this game and actually swiped third base. 2-1 pitch, down and away. Jensen is getting his dirty work in this inning. Lots of blocks. And yet another A's batter is in a good situation here count-wise. 3-1, the count to Edens, looking for anything to hit and put in play to maybe even get Ethan Wood to score from second. Corolla just searching for one more out to get this inning done with. He gets the strike call. Edens thought it was ball 4, but he'll have to dig back in with a full count. Three two misses down and away. Ball 4. Edens takes his base. And this could be the end of the day for Corolla. The coach for the Halos is beyond the top step. Looks like he's looking to call time. And yes, there it is. It is time. Could just be a mound visit, but with how this inning has gone, I suspect it could be the end of the day for Corolla. Waiting to see what is the outcome of this mound visit. It's taken a while, so usually in that situation, he is going to try. Coach is going to stick with him and try and see if he can finish out this inning. Definitely getting hotter here at the ballpark as we wait for this mound visit to conclude. It is the end of the day for Garola. So new pitcher on the mound. We will see who it is after the end of warmups. All right, we're back. New pitcher on the mound is Burrow for the Halos. So Gorella's day is done. First pitch from Smith lined right at the shortstop for out number 3. So one pitch is all it takes for Burrow to get the Halos out of this inning, but not after 3 runs from the Athletics to stand out in this game. They are up 6-1 as we get to the top of the 8th. Sorry about that. Thanks for letting me know about the audio issues. We are now live with audio. Whiteman's able to work in a strike here to DeValley, so 3-1 is the count. Let me catch you up on the inning's action since I was muted, unfortunately. Whiteman was able to start out this inning with a strikeout of Dash Lopez. That was 4 strikeouts in a row, spanning from the 7th to the 8th inning. Then Pena hits a triple down the right field line. Heck of a blast by him. And now we've seen back-to-back walks. Pena was able to come in and score on a pass ball. Very strange. It almost looked like it was a balk the way he was running down, but yes, he was really confident he was going to get in time. And additionally, during Trumbull's at bat, hopefully you're able to see that Whiteman missed with a pitch badly inside, and Trumbull able to sort of turn his body enough to where it split his legs, and Edens was able to make the catch. That was quite interesting. But now a bit of a situation here for Whiteman and the A's. 1 run has already come in to score. As mentioned, that was Pena on a pass ball. Runners are at first and second. That is Trumbull and DeValley. And Rodarte's now up with a chance to decrease the deficit with an extra base hit. Whiteman starts out this count with a strike, and this one is fouled back into the seats for a quick 0-2. Whiteman's 0-2 to Rodarte. Breaks it in for strike 3. Could be 2. Oh, my goodness. Could be 2 again. No. Wow, that was interesting. That is a strikeout of Rodarte. And Edens tried to throw it down to Nevada. Had to make a weird kind of little jump hop to keep that ball in front of him. So Trumbull's safe at third. Then the throw down to second, not in time. So DeValley's safe. 2 outs now in this inning, and both runners in scoring position, second and third. Bunt up for his second at bat. First pitch, he takes for a ball, 1-0. Pitch number 2, slider. Doesn't get the call, too low. Two 0 from Whiteman. Tried to paint outside, doesn't get the favor of the ump, and he is down 3-0 to bunt. In danger of walking his third this inning, 4th total in 1 2/3 innings work, but not quite yet. Comes back with a strike low in the zone. 3-1 from Whiteman, gets outside and fills it up 3-2. So as mentioned, this is second at bat for Bunt. Came in for Perales. First at bat for him was last inning. He was able to work a leadoff walk. Whiteman looking for the payoff pitch to end this inning. No go, though. That one's low. And that is 3 walks out of the last 4 batters for Whiteman. Andrew Jensen, the catcher, coming up in a big spot here for the Halos to try and really get back into this one. They've already scored 1 as this one's fouled back. Jensen represents the game-tying run for the Halos, and boy, would it be a heck of a time for them to get a grand slam here and tie things up. Whiteman gets pitch number 2 down in the dirt, 1-1. So runners on base are Trumbull at third, DeValley at second, and Bunt at first. Jensen also a defensive substitution on the game, coming in for the starting catcher Miller First time up for him, though, he struck out. Whiteman one strike away from ending this inning, but not quite yet. Jensen able to get a piece of that one. Foul ball, 1-2. Whiteman still searching for that final out. This one's blasted. He snatches it with the glove. Wow, absolute hot shot. Right back to Whiteman, and his glove is in the right place, and great reaction for out number 3. Bullpen guys right next to me charting pitches. We're hyped. You might have heard that. I was hyped too. Team's hyped. And able to get out of that big time jam are Whiteman and the A's. They do give up 1 run though, and it is now 6-2 as they try to get one back and perhaps more before we head to the 9th. Bottom of the 8th, likely the last at bats for the A's, but they want to guarantee that it's the last at bats with some extra runs. Isaac Fernandez leads it off for the A's. First pitch, swing at a miss at some breaking stuff on the outside part of the plate. Fernandez 0 for 2 on the day, grounded into a fielder's choice and a strikeout, but had himself a sacrifice fly, and he absolutely ripped this one, but in foul ground. Well, back to the sacrifice fly that happened in the 4th inning. Scored Ethan Wood, and that was the first run of this ball game. Slow going in the first half of this ball game, but absolutely heated up in the second half, as well as those temperatures. We're now in the 80s so far today. That one bounced in the dirt, 1-2. So after Fernandez, it is Maynor and Perry. That's at least who's scheduled up. Those are the 7 and 8 spots. Fernandez has gotten it from 0-2 to 2-2. There is some action going on in the A's bullpen. We'll see if they do bring in someone for the 9th inning instead of Whiteman. Whiteman able to work out of a heck of a jam there. Did himself no favors with walking 3 batters in that inning. Ended up having bases loaded, but caught a great, well, it was a great catch, I should say, on a heater of a comebacker right to him on the mound. So 2-2 it is now to Fernandez. Pitch on the way upstairs, a little bit in, and he's worked it full. Burrow sets on his payoff pitch. Fernandez under this one and lifts it into the seats. So Fernandez eating up some pitches here early, making a competitive at-bat out of an 0-2 count. Burrow looking to finish him off for out number one. Comes set here, fires another payoff pitch, gets the chase. It's in the dirt and gonna throw it on over to first is Jansen in time for out number one. Burrow gets gets Fernandez to chase on that one. One down. Jake Maynor, the first baseman, digs in for perhaps a final time this game. Been a bit of a tough one for him at the plate, but not because he's not getting on base, but because he's getting hit by pitches. Two of them in this game. First pitch takes it outside, 1-0. So hit by pitch in the second inning, struck out looking in the fourth, but then hit by a pitch yet again in the seventh, and he was the first run of three in that inning. Takes this one low, called strike. Body language indicates he didn't like that one too much, but 1-1 count. Burrow's pitch skied out of play. So Burrow has the advantage yet again in accounts. Maynor, though, able to fight this one off. Fouled into the screen. Perry is the on-deck hitter, and looks like Navot is in the cleanup. So it doesn't look like any planned substitutions here or spur-of-the-moment substitutions for Coach Wyatt Featherston. We've seen him go to the bench a good amount in this second half of the season. Maynor took that one for a ball, so 2-2. Yet another A's batter working the count here and able to watch ball three there. Catcher pointed down to first base umpire. Again, seen a couple appeal asked, but on ones that just aren't even questionable or close. But anyways, full count, 3-2 yet again. A's are eating up those pitches for Burrow, and Maynor able to touch this one for a foul ball. Another 3-2 pitch. Maynor watches it for ball four. Quality at bat for him, and he'll get on base for the third time this ball game. So Burrow's been able to get ahead of these batters early on in the at-bats, but they have had good discipline at the plate, also fouling stuff off to extend these at-bats. Maynor able to make a walk out of it after Fernandez went deep in his at-bat and struck out. So one down, one runner on base. Aiden Perry watches first pitch, strike one. Perry 0 for 3 on the day, line out, strikeout, and fly out as Burrow checks on Maynor at first. He's able to get in there safe. Maynor does have a stolen base on the day, so we'll see if he thinks about swiping two again. Perry watches strike two in high and outside, and yet again, Burrow gets ahead in his challenges against batters this inning. Second time he's gotten a batter 0-2. First one being Fernandez, excuse me. So 0-2 pitch on the way. Perry watches this one for ball one. Maynard takes a healthy lead off first base. Perry sends this one high in the sky out to right center field. It bounces off the heel of the glove of the right fielder. There goes Maynard. He's on the run over to third base. And we'll have to see how this is scored. It was a sliding attempt from the right fielder. Did bounce off of his glove. So that could make it an error, but looked to be a tough play to make. Could be a hit as well. Either way, though, for the A's, runners on first and second with only one out here, and they are first and third, excuse me, and they are looking to get some more insurance runs here. It is Luke Nevode that is hoping to drive in Maynard from third. First pitch, called strike. It does get ruled as a hit for Perry, so we'll add that into our scorebook. Seventh hit of the day for the A's, tied with the Halos for hits, both at 7. And with second base open, we'll see if Perry thinks about taking off. Good amount of the time, catchers do not bother to throw down in that situation. Don't want to risk Maynard coming home and scoring another run. Counts even 1-1 to Nevode. Takes that upstairs 2-1. Nevode over 3 on the day. 2 ground outs and a strikeout. Burrow's 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Good depth on that one and gets Nevode to miss. Goes from 0-1 to 2-1 to 2-2. Burrow trying to strike out Nevode or induce a ground ball. Pitch on the way, chases low and outside, slam of the bat. Nevode not happy with himself, but that is 2 down for the A's. So with 2 down, Scott Mitchell coming up for at bat number 5 on the day. 0 for 3 to start, then was able to get on base with a good work of the count and walk in the 7th inning. 2-out walk, as a matter of fact, too, started out something good here for the A's in the 7th inning, able to come up with 3 runs as he was able to extend his at-bat and the inning. Looking to do the same here. 1-1 count for him. Perry still hasn't shown any signs for going for 2. Still doesn't hear. Curveball breaks off the plate. 2-1. Burrow looks to get outside call. Doesn't get it, though, and Mitchell is ahead 3-1. 1 pitch away from loading the bases. 3-1 pitch. Perry's on the move. Swing and a miss, and he's going to have second base with no contest from the catcher, Jansen. Now runners on second and third, 2 runners in scoring position. Full count with 2 outs. They're going to be on the move here. This one sent out to shallow right center field. Bloop single for Scott Mitchell. Maynard's in and throws not in time. Perry's in. Clutch 2 out, 2 RBI single for Scott Mitchell, and the A's have probably put this one to bed. It is now 8-2 A's. So it's now Tyson Miller after that 2 RBI single from Mitchell. Miller's last time up was able to lay a beautiful bunt down a third base line that cashed in Maynor, and he was safe, showing off those wheels to beat out the throw. Burrow checks on Mitchell at first. He's in there safe. Aside from the bunt single, Miller able to draw a walk in the 7th inning. As this one bounces in the dirt, the umpire just kicked it away from home plate. So he called time there on that one. Mitchell's still able to get second base on that one. Don't know if he gets credit with a stolen base, as umpire put up his hands for time or dead ball as he was taking second base. Most likely still does, though. It's been a strange play there, though. Jensen was looking around trying to find that ball, and umpire just starts walking away from home plate and kicks it in the process. But 2-0 advantage to Miller here. Mitchell at second base. 2-0 pitch. High in the sky. Miller sends it out to right field, and it is caught for out number 3. Boy, Miller went high in the zone with that swing, and if he could have squared it up a little bit more, that could have gone a far way. Instead, that ends the inning, but not before the A's are able to cash in 2 more runs. Maynor with a great work of a walk, Perry with a single, and then Mitchell with the 2 RBI single. And the A's have 3 more outs to get with a 6-run lead. Looks like Parker Cristall's going to get the call to finish this game. Top of the 9th, 3 outs to get for the A's to close out this one and get back on the winning side of things. Parker Cristall on the mound in relief of Dylan Whiteman, tasked with getting those last 3 outs. First pitch here, he starts out heater high in the zone, fouled off of Eden's mask. Looks like Eden's is fine, though, 0-1. This is the shortstop DeLuca leading things off, 9-1-2, due up for the Halos. Cristall's year thus far in relief, 2 1/3 innings pitch. This is his 4th appearance. 0-1, right down the pipe, fouled away, 0-2. The 3 strikeouts to 1 walk for Cristall on the year. And nobody's gotten a hit off of him in his 2 1/3 innings. We'll see if he was setting up off speed there. He does go off speed. Crazy movement on that, but doesn't drop back in time for a strike. So now it's at 1-2. Gets him. Looks like a change up there and a beauty. Slows him down low in the zone. Strikeout. 1 down, 2 to go. So while we wait for Olsen to dig in, we'll recap Whiteman's outing. Ended up having 1 inning of work. I don't think that's right. Game Changer shows 1 inning. I think Whiteman went 2. Yeah, 2 innings for him. Anyways, 1 hit, 1 run, 2 strikeouts on 3 walks. Cristall starts out Olsen with a strike, swing and a miss, and he chases high upstairs. He 0-2. Another 0-2 benefit here to Cristall. Works it low and inside, but no swing, 1-2. Cristall into his windup, 1-2 pitch, up the middle, chop to George Smith, throw smooth as butter for out number 2. George Smith doing it on both sides, had a 2-run home run earlier in this game and charging hard on that little ground ball. Makes a nice throw on the run for out number 2. Only 1 out to get for the A's to start out this week with a W. It's up to Dash Lopez for the Halos. He has a hit on the day, 2 hits on the day, as a matter of fact. This is a little dribbler to Cristall, throws it on to first. Whoa, that was interesting. Didn't feel he had time to step a little more inside to get the angle, so he looped it over Lopez's head. Maynor had to jump for it, tried to put the tag on before he touched first base, but unable to do so. So it is a 2-out loop single there for Lopez. Left fielder Pena up now. He has had a good day himself. 2 hits, both of them extra base hits, double and a triple. Did score 1 of the 2 runs for the Halos. He gets started out with a ball from Cristall this time. Not able to catch up with that down the pipe, 1-1. Edens with a little back pick throw over to first, but not in time. Cristall's 1-1 outside. Taking his time, getting set now. Not even bothering to look at the runner at first. Comes home. And boy, that had some firm movement on it, but doesn't get the call. 3-1. So looking to get back into this one at bat, that is. That's Cristall, and does get the call there. And Pena was so certain he had a walk, he was starting to take off his protective gear, and now has to strap back up for a full count pitch.
Give me 3.
Crystal says yes, looking to work quick here. Bounced in the dirt for ball 4, and Crystal not happy with missing that one. And now runners on first and second for the Halos. So a little bit of something going on for them with 2 down. Cleanup hitter Trumbull now digs in with looking to move runners around, get some runs on the board here in the top of the 9th. 0 for 3 on the day is Trumbull. Ground out, pop out, and looks like another ground out here. Crystal gets the hot shot, fielded, tosses on over to first base in time for out. Number 3. So A's win this one 8-2. It was a slow burner at first. Only 1 run scored in 5 innings of action. That was the A's on a sac fly from Fernandez, cashing in Ethan Wood. But then just completely opened up after that, and the game ended up getting stretched out. A's with some great 2-out hitting here today. That is something they were sorely lacking up in Medford, which ended up costing them, in my opinion. But today they come up with great 2-out hitting, and it is really the difference here. 8-2 final. Tyler Gonzalez with solid 6 innings on the mound here for the A's, and solid fielding all around, aside from the first ball put in play. That was an error. So A's moved to 23-9 on the year and are looking to get on a hot streak again with wins, as we have 5 more games at home this week. Since we are sharing the field with the Grizzlies, they're all going to be morning games, 9 a.m. up and early. And then after that, looking further ahead, we'll have 1 game at home next week before we head up for our last road trip of the year. That is going to be a 3-gamer in Reading. Thank you to everybody who had tuned in for today's action for the Fresno A's. I'm Jarrett Smith. Oh, one final thing to let you know, actually. I alluded to this last week. I will not be on the call tomorrow. I am going to be out of town. So, there will be my old classmate at Fresno State, Ryan Leonardo, to call the game. I had him on for an inning last week just to get some kind of warm up, if you will. So he will be calling the game tomorrow. I will be out and about, but I will be back for Thursday's game. So until then, see ya soon.